The following is for the purpose of commentary and review. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was originally created by Hirohiko Araki, directed by Naokatsu Suda and Kenichi Suzuki, screenwritten by Yasuko Kobayashi, musically composed by Hayato Matsuo for Phantom Blood, developed by David Production, and licensed by Viz Media. Please support the official release.
Excuse me, sir, you seem to have...
Dear God, Reginald, I'm busy with its research for a new video, and...
I understand that this is your hour for Monster Girl Dowsions, but you do have a visitor.
Oh, hi there. He didn't really mean that. He was just pulling a joke on me, like I'll be pulling his Christmas bonus. But yes, do come in. Yes. So, you must be here because either you have a refined taste, or you like my videos, or maybe you're being held at gunpoint. I don't know about your life or what torture methods the FBI use these days.
Where the fuck is the hentai? Talk, you fucking bitch.
Now, understand, I am a cultured man. Between these simpletons and their kamehamehas and their loud, angry friendship speeches, I'm a refined gentleman with exquisite taste. A taste that can only be quenched by thwarting the plans of David Bowie as a buff vampire, British drag queens in the Mexican desert trying to infiltrate a Nazi research facility, and ghosts punching other ghosts. I know it's a really specific taste and it's kind of weird, but it can be quenched by JoJo. Now, this video is a little bit different as it will be a review of the entire series, broken down into many videos. So yes, this is the first of just many to come. And this first one pertains to, well, I mean, where else would we start but the beginning? More specifically, I will be breaking down the first part, Phantom Blood, into 3 arcs. The first one being the childhood arc, if you will, as this is the beginning of Jonathan and Dio's life and relationship, and literally the catalyst to this entire show. I'm going to be covering what is good, bad, and everything in between about this show. And while I do enjoy this series, I'm not afraid of thinking critically of Jim and his bizarre Slim Jim. So, the story. Let's get comfortable here. Yeah, let's get comfortable. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a Once upon a time, there was a wagon that kerboomed, with some rich people in it, and a baby. A delightful gentleman by the name of Dario Brando found the wagon. The driver was dead, and so was the family of 3 passengers inside.
Well, shucks, that's a shame. Better repurpose all of their belongings like the resourceful and kind man that I am,
said Mr. Brando, attempting to pry a ring off the man's cold, dead finger. The problem was that the man was in fact very much not dead. He was alive and grateful to his newfound savior and friend, Mr. Brando, and introduced himself as George Joestar of the Joestar State. For saving the life of himself and his apparently alive son, Mr. Joestar felt indebted to Dario, and the rest was history. Until 12 years later, then this little asshole leaps out of a wagon in the most campy villainous pose I've ever seen in a fashion that can only be described as a toddler hyped up on caffeine after watching Spider-Man. His name is Dio. He's the son of the now-deceased Dario Brando, and he was seeking a new home. And so he made sure to introduce himself by kicking Jonathan's dog. By the way, this is the son of the righteous George Joestar from before, and then proceeds to bully the ever-living shit out of Jonathan while George regrets the existence of his biological fruit of his loins, now splintering in the glory of his new, definitely not evil son, Dio. Dio turns out to be a great friend by beating the shit out of Jonathan and attempting to gouge his eyes out in a boxing match, like good friends do. Stealing his girl's first kiss in a way that is pretty much molestation, also what good friends do, and then burning the dog from earlier alive for getting his ass rightfully whooped, again, just friend things that friends do. So naturally, after all this, they managed to stay good friends after their days in university, becoming part of the best rugby team around, because fuck it, why not? They were both very successful in their respectful fields of study and were the best friends that could ever friend. Their father was so proud of them. He was so proud that he was slowly dying. This made JoJo, that's his nickname BT Dubs, very sad and worried for his father. Dio was also sad, but showed it in a very different way. One day, while doing some research, JoJo found something very curious. A letter. This letter was written by Dario, Dio's very late and upright citizen of a father, and it told JoJo everything that he needed to know. JoJo takes this letter to his best friend Dio and wants to know what super secret medicine he's been delivering to their father. It was the poisonous variety, of course, and Dio made an oopsie by not covering his friendly friend trail of friendly evidence. Obviously, they fight, Dio goes wah and scurries into the night. JoJo tells the butler not to trust this buff Draco Malfoy stunt double and says he needs to go to London because he thinks the poison is of Asian origin just because it's kind of weird, which is, it's an oddly racist thing to say, but it's 1888, that's pretty normal for them. He goes to a spooky place called Ogre Street and fights some new friends, including this asshat who watched On Job from James Bond, but somehow nearly 100 years earlier and said, "You know, I could do that, shite." After having his hat yeeted and his face beated, he now became JoJo's newest, bestest, most bestly best friend. Because it's only the ones that try to beat the shit out of him that become buddies with him. I guess he finds this sneaky little fellow in the origins of the poison somehow, I don't know, but what's more important is that Dio's having a party for two in London. Just him and this mask that has been shown in like 7 different scenes now, and he says, "Harumph! This shit looks important and has stabby things whenever blood gets on it. I should take it out for a field study." This prompts him to give a new friend his mask, and he becomes a great Halloween prop that nearly kills Dio. Unfortunately, the son was also curious as to what all the ruckus was about, and Dio's new friend was turned into ash. Though, Dio now had an idea, and wanted to show JoJo the friend-making mask. They all then met back up at the old mansion for a reunion party. Speedwagon, the head boy from earlier, and now this sneaky racist caricature of an Asian say that Dio has been a naughty boy. And JoJo still can't believe it's not bad writing. Now 33% less sodium. This POs Dio off, so much that he puts on the mean boy mask after stabbing Daddy JoJo, or Giorgio? Joe George? Anywho, he stabbed, blood goes splat, cops go pew, and Dio's dead. Well, that was actually pretty anti-climactic. Son of Gary Busey's toothbrush, they all dead as shit! Lots of burning happens, physics goes out the fucking window, they up on a roof now, they find like crazy, like for way too damn long. Also, Dio's probably dead. And nope, he's not dead. Neither is JoJo or Speedwagon. George is, though, and so is the house. Also, the dog is still dead, just a reminder. And that is the childhood arc. Complete! Now, I may have glossed over quite a few details, so let's talk about now what I refuse to gloss over. So, is George here just deaf or stupid? Why doesn't he see or hear Dario's conspiring? And he never sees Dio's knife. He doesn't see the mask doing sick, nasty, 360, epic no-scope tricks on the floor, only blames JoJo. He's just a typical dumb adult in all of this. And JoJo really isn't much better. If you told this goof-ass that Gullible was written on the ceiling, he'd get a blacklight, because he'd think he wrote it with invisible freaking ink. Also, he's a typical dumb kid who doesn't know how girls work. Is that the girl from before? No shit, JoJo. There's like 3 whole women in this entire season. One of them is already fucking dead, you fuckberry pie. Speaking of gullible bastards, no one ever suspected Dio of dog roasting, despite his history of love with animals. Fuck it. Okay then, sure. And then there's this fuck. I understand why he hates his father, but the fact that he's still this evil after all the Joestars have done for him despite their love and admiration for him pisses me off. He's not just evil, he's unbelievably and unnecessarily evil, and I do mean unbelievably. From his devilish leaps, inappropriate girl handling, which, by the way, Rocky doesn't know how to make a villain that isn't rapey or loves harassing women for this entire season, and this trend will continue for a long time, see exhibits A, B, C, and D. Treating JoJo like shit, probably just because he's Joseph first, but this doesn't excuse him for bullshit later on. And again, he still wants to kill George despite what the man has done for him. And the friendship is so just forced and slapped together, because we see zero indication of how they could ever become friends. And in fact, we only see points that counter the very thought. How was he the only one that noticed this wearable MacGuffin? And why the hell is it on a naked wall in the foyer when it could have been in the study the entire time? And thank you so much for all the ham-fisted foreshadowing pertaining to it, Araki. And why leave an incriminating letter like this? He's in law? Law my fat fucking ass. Speaking of law, this is an alternate timeline in which Isaac Newton didn't exist, and so no one knew that gravity would have gotten them to the floor in about 3 seconds, not 3 fucking minutes. The Joestar Mansion is 30 feet tall, not a mile and a goddamn half, and everyone jumps around like they're on the freaking moon. And what even is human anatomy, Iraqi? This shit looks like the little head code in a PS2 sports game. How is his eye already healed? Where in God's name did all this blood come from? In astronomy? Pfft, day and time night cycle is based on all his time playing Minecraft. Therefore, the sun rises in 15 minutes from fucking midnight. Seeing as how the sun just comes out of fucking nowhere for this part. How do I... girl? Oh, and I can't stand the dub, just because Speedwagon's voice is so fucking horrible. Oi, JoJo, watch out! Oh no, he's gone to the loo to make doo-doo when Dio's used the last of the toilet paper. What is he gonna do? And Speedwagon would be a great buddy character if he would just shut the fuck up for 2 minutes. I love this man, but he has to throw in his 2 cents on everything and it's infuriating. Like, really? His father just died and you're like gonna give the fucking eulogy right here, kid? And what even is this line? The devil's luck? Rocky, do you just hate the Chinese and think they're all sneaky and evil? Also, that's not how that works. You cannot do that with a sword. Okay, admittedly that part was cool. So, I promise I don't hate this show. There's plenty to like. I admit it. The music is pretty damn good. I mean, look, fuck, the OP is really cool. I love the homage to all the JoJo's from the manga. Also, way to do 3D art without making it ugly. Parts of this OP are straight up spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched this already or read the manga, but it's also a decent song. The OP is probably the best part of this show, which is really unfortunate to say. The color palette swaps are a really nice way to set the mood and tension in the story. The onomatopoeia katakana are all very reminiscent of the manga to match up key moments throughout. Dio has some great lines. JoJo's sense of justice makes him a nice, upstanding guy. Some of the fight scenes are simple and smooth. Animation is definitely great, and while proportions get wonky here and there, the overall designs of these characters make sense for their time and are creative without being an eyesore. Speaking of things that look good, this team knows how to draw and animate facial expressions very well, and for some reason Araki was good at drawing dogs. With one exception, we'll talk about that later. Yet he can't draw a teenager. It's either a baby or Olympian god. Like, there's no in-between. Especially like Speedwagon's hat. It's just really fucking cool. Roundabout as the ending song and the outro altogether are great. I see why it became a meme, for sure. And while JoJo and Arena interacting at first was really cheesy and forced, I later found it to be charming and endearing. Probably just watching them spend time with each other. Now then, I suppose it is time for you to go. But I do appreciate you stopping by and...
Sir, the tax collectors! They're here, they won't take no for an answer.
Damn! Reginald, get the old shotgun above the mantle and hold them off. If they get in here, I'll never be able to give you that Christmas bonus.
I thought you said that you weren't going to give...
Do you want the bonus or not?
Very well, sir. I shall fetch the mop and clean up soon after.
Well, I suppose we won't be leaving for quite a while, seeing as how that's the only door in and out. But after he's done, I'll have him bring up some tea. But where was I in this story? Oh yeah, that's right. Thank you so very much for watching. There's been a lot of effort and time and love put into this, and this is a project I've wanted to get started for a while now. So, thank you for your support. Thank you for clicking on the video in the first place, and if you want more of this, make sure to subscribe. Alright, well, see you next time.